Hello there, welcome back to this new week of shows. In beautiful colour after the black and white noir mood of last week. I'm not doing any World War II documentaries this week. I did 15 hours worth of them, or 15 hours of watching for 2 videos, so I need a little breather from them. There are 2 more planned. I hope you'll like them. I'm looking forward to watching them, but also dreading watching them at the same time. So this is a lighter week. I think you'll see why. But I'm not going to start with light. I'll start with Bresson, which is Lancelot Du Lac. This is Bresson's take on Arthurian Legends. And it's one of the 3 great ones. I mean, there's 3 great films that are based on the King Arthur legends. There's Lancelot Du Lac, there's Excalibur by John Boorman, and there's Monty Python and the Holy Grail. 3 very different films. The Holy Grail takes the mickey, but does it in a brilliant way. Excalibur is the dark, romantic, violent version, and it's one of my favourite films ever. But that's all 3 of them. I love the Arthurian Legends. All 3 of these films are 3 of my favourite films. Lancelot Du Lac is the most understated one because it's Bresson. But it's unique to itself as well. It's not a film anyone else would make, but Bresson. It's got this strange feeling that's different from anything else you'll ever see on the subject. For a start, it's a King Arthur movie about Lancelot, which suggested the title. Bresson, like everyone else, takes the legends to the direction he wants rather than trying to be slavish to one interpretation of the legend. He does his thing with it. So you've got a character called Mordred, who's not Arthur's son. He's one of the knights who's questioning everything and who's plotting against Arthur. Lancelot is the great knight of lore. Guinevere is in love with him. Arthur is dealing with that problem. But you don't see after that much. He's this figure that's in the background a lot of the time, and whenever you see him, he's not the great romantic figure you get in Excalibur. He's just this guy who's a king. Like, they don't make him out as a great figure. It's almost like in the Bresson version of this, is he's the leader, but the knights are the ones that created the legend. And the film starts it starts with some images of people getting killed. Everyone's in King Arthur's throne. They've all got these clunky metallic armour. They're basically walking tanks that are trying to protect themselves, and they're killing other people, and they're doing their nightly thing, which Bresson pretty much shows is just butchery. It's just butchering people. That's it. There's nothing romantic about it. There's some skill involved, but it's brutal. It's not worth the tales that have been written about them, because it's just brutality. It's basically like what you'd see. It's basically a version of a pub brawl with big swords. You know, it's just so unromantic. It's beautiful, but it's unromantic. The way it's shot is beautiful, but in a very honest way. It's like somebody, even though they're going for the rough and ready, they're not stylising it the way like Guy Ritchie would. No, they're doing this is just brutal, and it's just horrible, and there's blood going everywhere. There's more blood in this film, in the first few minutes of this film, and the rest of Bresson's film filmography combined. You know, but it's not like Paul Verhoeven's blood flying all over the place. It's pretty much just blood spots, and the camera sits on it for a bit, then it moves away. You know, it's not part of the stylisation. It's not part of an obvious stylisation to excite you about the era. It's a comment on, this is just nasty. This is nasty stuff. And then you get a voiceover telling you that, basically it starts the voiceover in these fights, and the voiceover telling you that the knights are on a quest for the Holy Grail, which is meant to be in Brittany, in France. They have all gone there. Percival has led them Like, because Merlin, when he was dying, told them that the Grail was in Brittany. Percival, the Pure, was to lead them. He was chosen by Merlin over Lancelot, who was the great knight of Arthur, which obviously caused problems. And this is 10 years later, they've all been... Percival has disappeared, and we never see him again in the film. He's just gone. And that's pretty much him out the picture. 10 years later, they'll come back to Camelot, and Camelot's just this castle with these barns and all these horses, and it's not a big romantic thing, it's just a castle. It's a castle that's been romanticised in fiction, but in essence it's just a castle. Just lots of rooms, people walking in and out of lots of rooms. The way Bresson likes people walking in and out of rooms. He's great at rooms and door frames. He loves a good door frame. And there's all these talk, and it's just this creeping paranoia about Lancelot. Like, they're all jealous of Lancelot. Lancelot's the great knight, and Lancelot's come back. And a lot of the plotters in the kingdom just look at Lancelot as this bastard who gets all the credit. And they've all been through the wars trying to find the Grail, and it's been a failure. And Mordred is one who didn't go on the quest, and he just stayed home, and everyone knows he's a bad egg. And he's plotting with people who went on the quest, and he's plotting against Lancelot, and he's also saying Lancelot's in love with the Queen, because Lancelot's the Queen's protector. He's the special guard of the Queen, as well as being the great knight of the, Round Table. And now that so many of the knights are dead, they're starting to turn on him. I mean, they're starting to sense... Everyone kind of gets that Lancelot's in love with the Queen, but no one, because of their rules of behaviour, no one's willing to accept it, because so many knights still look up to Lancelot as a pure... He's the knight they want to be. He's the embodiment of knightly courage. Even though they're just hacking people to bits, he's like their hero. More than Arthur, he's a guy that they all adore. He's the guy that they want to be. And the idea that he's in love with the Queen is just abhorrent to them. And the whole story comes around because it's true, Lancelot is in love with the Queen. The Queen cannot let Lancelot go, even though he's begging her to let him go, because it's bad for the kingdom. And it's that tension of the Queen won't let him go, he's wanting to go, and it causes all this havoc between them in their own heads, because they both change their position over time. Like, the Queen starts to realise his point of view is right, and Lancelot starts to fall for her again and be unable to separate himself from her for a time. And during that time, the secret gets out and everybody knows what's going on, and there's like a civil war between two halves of the knights. And all of this is wonderful, because it's done in a Bresson style, which is, going through doors, talking in a very unemotional style. But because Bresson makes a lot out of it, because he's showing you the drama, but he's not showing you the over emotions. So you're getting the idea, because Lancelot is in himself a lot, but you still get the idea he's really in love with the Queen. You get the idea the Queen's really in love with him, but they're not. So that like a touch of a hand means a lot more than a whole sex, it's just about the suppressed emotion. And Bresson's also good at the paranoia of the time, where people believe in God, people believe in the Holy Grail. They've done 10 years good after the Grail. They believe in God, they believe in the King as the pure embodiment of what the future of the realm has to be. It's a king, it's religion. You do not fall in love with the Queen, you do not do any of this stuff. Your life is in service to a greater cause than yourself. All of that is unquestioned. It's pretty much back to the more primal version of religion. You don't rise above your rank. You have a rank, that's you. You just stick to it, and your own feelings don't matter. And that's what Bresson is really exploring, the idea of people's trying to live in that environment. And it's impossible, because people take advantage of it. So instead of, because once everyone realises what's going on, there's no way Arthur can back down to Lancelot. He has to get his Queen back, or he's going to look weak and get killed. Lancelot knows this. he's always known. This is why he was always very nervous with this whole situation and try to keep the Queen away from him. And it's just a disaster. It's just a horrible situation, which the enemies take advantage of. And then the end of it really is the enemies killing everybody because they're all fighting each other, and his enemies take advantage, and once they're all separated, that's when they can take them down. So it ends with Arthur dead, just like the legends do. But there's no suggestion of a once and future king or anything. It's just all these people are dead. All this virtue has gone for naught because human nature is inherent in every action. You can't have an idealised version of life. Human nature gets in the way. People have emotions that don't fit into any specific ideology. They're messy. Everything gets screwed up. And because Bresson keeps it so tight on the people and not having them over emote, you're seeing the consequences of the disaster of every little thing that's going on. You can just feel it slowly get more and more paranoid, but not in a kind of there's no overacting. It's paranoia. It's underplayed, so it makes it more scary. I mean, one thing when I was watching, I was thinking this is almost as paranoid as a thing. John Carpenter's a thing. This whole idea of whatever you say or do is going to go against you. Whatever you do, there's no way out. This is it's that Arthurian version of the thing. Yeah, that'll go down well with Bresson fans. But yeah, this whole thing of there's no escape. Pretty much early on, as soon as Lancelot gets back, it's like his days are numbered. It's like he knows he's dead. He's a dead man walking. He tries to survive this thing with some dignity, but his emotions get in the way. The Queen starts to hate Arthur because he's in the way of her having who she really wants, which is Lancelot. But it's not him, it's the system that's in place that he's a leader of, and all of his people rely on that system. Everybody in the court relies on that system to stay sane, because this is a very brutal world where there's lots of enemies. They're always out to test you. You need to always be on guard. And as soon as there's one little kink in the armour, which is just humanity, it's all going to collapse, because it's a very paranoid time. There's no escape from that. But the way Bresson does it, by underplaying everything, and that's probably closer to reality than anything else, of like human nature. People make mistakes and they do it horribly. Everything's handled horribly wrong. People are awkward. Like friends kill friends because they're on opposite sides and they feel they've got a duty based on their upbringing to protect the king or avenge their brother. So at one point Lancelot kills one of his best friends because he killed his brother who's an enemy, but this friend realises he has to avenge his brother out of honour. But it's stupid honour. It doesn't mean anything because he knows both people know it's a bad idea, and both people are fighting. You don't even see the fight. You get told about it later, and both people know that they're in the wrong. And it's like that's the whole thing of this film. It's like people are always in the wrong and always know they're in the wrong. And you're just watching the whole thing unwind, and you see the terror and the paranoia, and no one's getting this thing alive. It's just a wonderfully unique take on Arthurian legends. It's just so beautiful, and it's done with the Bresson style of everything's played unemotionally, but the emotions just come through all the time. It's always there. The horror situation, the emotion situation, it's always there because they're not forcing it on you. So you've also been allowed to be critical of everything that's going on. You've also seen all the machinations and all the craziness of religion while using the basic template of a myth. So you just have to see Catholicism's insane. You can just see this verse of religion is insane, and you can take your meaning from that. So it's a clever way of criticising religious dogma without getting people angry at you. So it's a wonderful film. It's one of my favourite Bresson films. I think it's one of his best films. It's one of the 70s films that's better known than some of his other ones, like Four Nights with a Dream or something. This is one of the better known ones because it's about the Arthurian legends. It's definitely worth seeing. It's available on Artificial Eye and DVD. There's no Blu-ray yet. There should be Blu-ray. This film needs a Blu-ray because it's gorgeous even in DVD. This is a wonderful film. see it as soon as you can. It's really worth the effort because it's only 80 minutes long, but being Bresson, he packs so much in 80 minutes. You know, he packs more in 80 minutes than most Arthurian Legend films, apart from the two I mentioned, manage combined. You know, that's how good he is, that's how spare he is, that's how he keeps so much in track, and he knows every scene has a purpose, every moment has a purpose. He's thought it through, he knows what he's doing. So this is an amazing film, it's so beautiful, so go see it if you can, it's one for the ages. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and we're back soon with another video.